They said they were busy. The nurse looked at me for a second longer than usual. Not because she didn't believe it. Because she did. Too easily. They'll come tomorrow, she added. Soft. Practiced. The kind of sentence people use when they already know tomorrow won't look different. I nodded. Didn't argue. Didn't ask her to repeat it. Because the truth had already settled in the room. My phone lit up again on the tray beside me. Face down. Vibrating once. Then still. I didn't reach for it. Not yet. Across the curtain I could hear voices. Low. Close. Someone whispering. Someone answering. A chair scraping softly against tile. Movement. Presence. I turned my head slightly. Not enough to be obvious. Just enough to register the difference. I wasn't the only one brought in that night. But I was the only one alone. That's how it looked now. Clean. Simple. But it hadn't started that way. It never does. It started with the fluorescent lights. Too bright. Too steady. The kind that flatten everything into one color. I remember blinking. Slow. Heavy. Like my body was catching up to something my mind hadn't agreed to yet. A voice came first. Not my name. A question. Can you hear me? I didn't answer. Not because I couldn't. Because I was deciding if I should. Another voice. Closer. She's waking up. Then the doctor. Calm. Neutral. Practiced. You're in the hospital, he said. No emotion in it. Just information. You fainted. Do you remember that? I didn't. But I nodded anyway. Because sometimes it's easier to agree with a version of events when your own hasn't arrived yet. Your parents are busy, he continued. They can't come tonight. Busy. That word landed quietly. Not sharp. Not loud. Just placed. Like a glass set carefully on a table. I looked at him. Then past him. At the empty space near the door. No bag. No jacket. No one standing awkwardly waiting to be told where to sit. Just the door. Closed. I nodded again. Okay. He seemed relieved. Not because I understood. Because I didn't resist. People in his position don't want conflict. They want compliance. He checked something on the chart. Spoke to the nurse. Then stepped out. The curtain moved slightly as he passed. Then stilled. Silence settled in. Not heavy. Just wide. That's when my phone lit up the first time. I turned my head. Slow. Looked at the screen. A message. From my mother. We're out for dinner. Call us in the morning. No question. No concern. Just schedule. I read it once. Then again, as if the second time might reveal something hidden. It didn't. I turned the screen off. Not sharply. Not dramatically. Just closed it. And placed it face down. That was the moment. Not when I woke up. Not when the doctor spoke. When I decided not to respond. Across the curtain, someone laughed. Soft. Relieved. A different tone entirely. Mom, it's okay, a voice said. Younger. Male. I'm fine. You scared us, another voice replied. Female. Closer. Don't do that again. I won't. A chair moved again. Fabric shifting. The sound of someone sitting down. Staying. I listened. Not intentionally. There wasn't anything else to do. The IV line ticked softly beside me. A monitor beeped at a steady rhythm. My breathing even. Controlled. Normal. On paper I was stable. In the room. I was separate. A nurse came in a few minutes later. Checked my vitals. Adjusted the blanket. Her hands were efficient. Not cold. Just practiced. Do you need anything, she asked. I shook my head. Number. She nodded. Wrote something down. Then paused. Just slightly. Someone will be in tomorrow, she said. I looked at her. Okay. She gave a small smile. The kind that doesn't expect to be returned. Then left. The curtain moved again. Then stillness. I turned my head back toward the ceiling. White. Unbroken. Nothing to focus on. That helps. When there's nothing to interpret, your mind stays quiet. But the voices across the curtain didn't. They continued. Soft. Consistent. Someone explaining something about work. Someone else asking about medication. Laughter. Then silence. Then more talking. A rhythm. Not loud. Not intrusive. Just there. Presence has a sound. Even when it's quiet. I didn't check my phone again. Not because I was avoiding it. Because I already knew what it would say. More messages. Same tone. Same structure. We'll come later. We'll see you soon. We're just finishing something. That's how it works. Delay framed as care. Absence framed as timing. I closed my eyes for a moment. Not to sleep. Just to feel the space. The bed beneath me. The weight of the blanket. The absence beside it. Because that's what this was. Not a crisis. Not a moment. A pattern. One that had always been there. Just never this visible. When I opened my eyes again, the room hadn't changed. The light still steady. The curtain still half drawn. The voices still there. And my phone? Still face down. Quiet. Waiting. But not for me. For the first time, they were the ones who didn't know what would come next. Morning came in small pieces. A tray set down. A curtain opened a few inches. A nurse's voice softer than the night shift. Good morning. I nodded. Didn't speak. My throat felt dry, but not from anything physical. From not using it. The room looked the same. Nothing had arrived overnight. No bag on the chair. No flowers. No note taped to the wall. Just the same chair. Empty. My phone was still where I left it. Face down. I turned it over. 3 new messages. All from my mother. Did you sleep? We'll come after lunch. Your father has a meeting. I read them in order. Then again out of order. As if rearranging them might change what they meant. They didn't. I set the phone back down. Screen up this time. Not answering. Not hiding it either. Across the curtain movement started earlier than mine. Footsteps. A thermos lid twisting open. Someone pouring coffee into a paper cup. You didn't sleep, the woman's voice said. I did, the man replied. You were up all night. A pause. Then a softer answer. I wanted to be here. I turned my head slightly. The curtain didn't fully block the view. Just enough to make everything partial. I saw a hand resting on the rail of the other bed. Fingers still. Not tapping. Not checking a phone. Just placed. The nurse came in with a clipboard. Pain level, she asked me. 2, I said. She nodded. Better. Yes. She wrote it down. Then glanced toward the curtain. Checked something on the other side. Her tone changed. Slightly warmer. Not dramatically. Just different. How are we doing over here? We're good, the woman answered. Thank you. The nurse smiled. I could hear it in her voice. That's good to hear. Same nurse. Same room. Different tone. That's when I noticed it clearly. Care doesn't just come from staff. It expands when someone is there to receive it with you. On my side, it stayed contained. Measured. Efficient. That wasn't neglect. It was structure. But structure feels different when it's not shared. By mid-morning, a volunteer came in with a cart. Magazines. Crosswords. Water pitchers. Would you like something to read, she asked. I shook my head. No, thank you. She nodded. Moved on. Across the curtain. Yes, please, the woman said. Do you have anything light? The volunteer laughed softly. Always. Pages flipped. Paper shifted. Small sounds. Again. Presence. I watched the ceiling for a while, then turned to the window. There wasn't much to see. A parking lot. A few cars moving in and out. A row of trees that looked exactly the same no matter what time of day it was. That helped. Consistency. Something that didn't change depending on who showed up. At 11:17, my phone lit up again. My father this time. Let me know what the doctor says. No question mark. No greeting. Just instruction. I read it once, then locked the screen. I didn't answer. Not because I was angry. Because I didn't need to explain something they hadn't made space to hear. Around noon, the curtain shifted slightly. The man on the other side stood up. Slow. Careful. You should go home for a bit, he said. I'm not leaving, the woman replied. I'll be here when you wake up again. A pause. Then, I know. That word stayed in the air. Not loud. Not emphasized. Just known. The kind of knowing that doesn't need confirmation. I closed my eyes, not to block it out, to feel the difference. Because comparison isn't about envy. It's about clarity. And clarity doesn't need to be forced. It arrives when two things exist side by side. One present, one absent. By early afternoon, my doctor came back in. Vitals look good, he said. You'll probably be discharged tomorrow. I nodded. Okay. He hesitated. Just slightly. Has your family been by yet? There it was. The question everyone eventually asks. Not out of judgment. Out of expectation. No, I said. They're coming later. He nodded. Accepted it. Because that answer fits the structure. People come later. They always do. Except when they don't. He made a note. Then left. The room settled again. The same rhythm. The same quiet. But something had shifted. Not outside. Inside. I reached for my phone. Unlocked it. Opened my mother's last message. We'll come after lunch. I looked at the time. 1:43. Lunch had passed. No update. No adjustment. Just delay. I typed a reply. Stopped. Deleted it. Set the phone down. Because answering would return me to the structure. And I was no longer inside it. Across the curtain, the woman spoke again. Do you want me to call your sister? The man hesitated. Then, number. A pause. She'll come when she can. I almost smiled. Not because it was the same. Because it wasn't. The difference was in the tone. Expectation. Not assumption. That matters. I turned my head back toward the ceiling. Same white. Same stillness. But I wasn't waiting the same way anymore. Waiting changes when you understand it. When you stop expecting someone to arrive and start observing who does and who doesn't. That's when things become clear. Not emotionally, structurally. And once you see the structure, you stop asking it to change. You decide where you stand in it. By late afternoon, the room felt smaller. Not physically. Nothing had moved. The chair was still empty. The tray still half cleared. The same IV line, the same quiet monitor. But something about the space had tightened. Like everything unnecessary had been removed, leaving only what mattered. Across the curtain, the rhythm hadn't changed. Someone was always there. Sometimes the woman, sometimes a younger voice. A daughter, I guessed. Once a man with a deeper tone came in. Stayed. Left. Replaced. Continuity. Not constant, but consistent. That distinction matters. On my side, there was no rotation. No replacement. Just absence. At 4:12, my phone lit up again. My mother. We got held up. We'll come tonight. I read it. Then looked at the time again. 4:12. Held up. Another small phrase. Placed carefully. Never defined. I set the phone down. Didn't respond. Because the pattern was already complete. At 4:30, a nurse came in with medication. She checked my chart. Adjusted the IV. How are you feeling, she asked. Fine. She nodded. You've been quiet. Yes. A small pause. Then, that's not a bad thing. I looked at her. It depends, I said. She smiled slightly, then moved on. Across the curtain, laughter again. Lighter this time. Relief, maybe. Or familiarity. I turned my head just enough to see. Not fully. Just the edge. The woman sat closer now, leaning in, listening. Her hand resting on the bed rail again. Same position. Same stillness. That detail stayed with me. Not the words. The consistency. I reached for my phone again. Opened my messages. Scrolled up. Past today. Past yesterday. Further. until I found the same tone. Different situations. Same structure. We'll be there soon. Running late. Don't wait for us. I hadn't noticed it before. Not fully. Because each moment felt separate. Justified. Explained. But now, they aligned. One after another. A pattern. Not dramatic. Not intentional in a loud way. But consistent. And consistency reveals more than intensity ever does. I locked the phone. Set it down. Because I didn't need more examples. I already understood. Around 5 o'clock, a different nurse came in. End of shift. New energy. New tone. Any visitors, she asked, checking the board. Number. She wrote something down. Then looked at me. Just a second longer. Not judgment. Recognition. Someone should be here, she said. Not as a question. As a statement. I didn't answer. Because she wasn't asking me to explain. She was acknowledging something she had already seen. Across the curtain, voices lowered. A conversation ending. A chair sliding back. I'll be back in the morning, the younger voice said. Text me if you need anything. I will. A pause. Then, thank you for staying. Of course. Footsteps. The sound of someone leaving. Then, the woman again. Still there. Still seated. Still present. Not filling space. Holding it. I closed my eyes for a moment. Not tired. Just processing. Because something had shifted again. Not in what was happening. In how I was seeing it. This wasn't about them being busy. Or timing. Or circumstances. It was about position. And I had been placed somewhere specific. Not accidentally. Consistently. The phone buzzed again. 5:37. My father this time. We'll try to come later tonight. Try. Another word that carries less than it sounds. I read it. Then turned the phone off. Not silent. Off. That was the first time I had done that. And it changed the room. Not physically. Internally. Because once the connection is gone, so is the expectation. Across the curtain, the woman spoke softly. You should rest. I'm not tired, the man replied. You don't have to stay up with me. I know. A pause. Then, I want to. That sentence stayed. Simple. Uncomplicated. Unexplained. I opened my eyes. Looked at the ceiling again. Same white. Same stillness. But it didn't feel empty anymore. It felt defined. Because absence only feels like a question when you're still trying to understand it. Once you don't, it becomes an answer. I reached for the blanket. Adjusted it slightly. Smoothed the edge. Not because it needed it. Because I did. Small movements. Controlled. Intentional. That's where change starts. Not in confrontation. Not in reaction. In recognition. And once you recognize something clearly, you stop asking it to be different. You decide what it means. And what you do with it. That night no one came. Not later. Not at all. But by then, that wasn't the part that mattered anymore. At 7:10, the nurse dimmed the lights. Not fully dark. Just enough to signal the shift. Day to evening. Movement to quiet. On my side, nothing changed. On the other side, someone adjusted a blanket. A chair creaked softly. The woman's voice lowered. Try to sleep. I will. A pause. Then, you'll be here. Yes. Simple. Certain. No negotiation. That was the difference. I lay back. Hands folded loosely over the blanket. The room felt settled now. Defined. Not waiting. Not expecting. Just clear. At 7:42, the door opened. I didn't turn right away. Footsteps. 2 sets. Familiar. My mother's voice came first. Rachel. Soft. Careful. As if the room might reject her if she spoke too loudly. I turned my head. She stood near the door. My father slightly behind her. Both still wearing their coats. That told me everything. They hadn't come to stay. They had come to arrive. We got here as soon as we could, she said. I nodded. Okay. They didn't move closer immediately. That hesitation mattered. Not uncertainty. Position. They were trying to understand where they fit. For the first time. My father stepped forward. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "Fine." He nodded. Looked at the monitor. The fourth. The room. Taking inventory. Not of me. Of the situation. My mother set her purse down on the chair. The empty one. The one that had stayed untouched all day. She didn't sit. Just placed it there. As if marking the space. "We were at dinner," she said. "I saw." She paused. "Your father had a meeting earlier." I didn't respond. Because explanation without question is just reassurance for the speaker. "We didn't know it was serious," she added. I looked at her. It wasn't. That stopped her. Because it removed the justification. If it wasn't serious, then the absence wasn't about misunderstanding. It was about priority. Across the curtain, the woman shifted in her chair. I heard it. So did my mother. Her eyes flicked briefly in that direction. Then back to me. "We would have come sooner," she said. "I know." Silence. Then, "But we're here now." There it was. The conclusion. The resolution she expected to land. I nodded once. Yes. No warmth. No rejection. Just acknowledgement. My father cleared his throat. "We can stay for a bit," he said. A bit? Another measured phrase. I looked at the chair. At the purse. At the distance they were holding. "You don't have to," I said. My mother frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" "I mean you don't have to stay," I repeated. Her expression shifted. Not hurt. Confusion. Because the script had changed. This wasn't how it usually went. Usually presence repaired absence. Usually arrival restored position. But something had already shifted before they got here. "We came to see you," she said. "I can see that." Another pause. Then, "Don't you want us here?" There it was. The question. Not about care. About validation. I considered it. Then said, "That's not the point." Silence. My father looked at me. Really looked. For the first time since he entered. "What is the point?" he asked. I leaned back slightly. Not distancing. Positioning. "The point is when you came," I said. "And when you didn't." My mother opened her mouth. Closed it. Because that sentence doesn't invite explanation. It invites reflection. "We had things we couldn't move," she said. "I understand. But this?" "I understand," I repeated. That stopped her. Because understanding removes defense. If I understand, then her explanation doesn't change anything. Across the curtain, the man spoke again. "You should get some rest." "I will." "You don't have to stay up." "I know." A small pause. Then, "I want to." My mother heard that. I saw it in her face. A flicker. Recognition. Comparison. Then she looked at the chair again. Her purse still sitting there. Unclaimed. Unused. She didn't sit. "I didn't think it mattered that much," she said quietly. There it was. The truth. Not framed. Not softened. Just placed. I nodded. "Yes? That's clear." Silence. Then, "I see it now," she added. I didn't respond. Because seeing isn't the same as changing. But it's where it begins. My father stepped back slightly. Gave her space. That was his way. Always had been. Support from a distance. "We'll come back tomorrow," he said. I looked at him. "You can." Not please. Not don't. Just option. They stood there a moment longer. Not sure how to end it. Because there was no clear closing. No resolution. Just awareness. My mother picked up her purse. Held it in front of her. "We'll call you," she said. "Okay." They left. The door closed softly behind them. No rush. No sound beyond the latch. Across the curtain, the woman shifted again. Still there. Still present. The same position she had held all evening. I looked at the empty chair beside me. Then at the door. Then back at the ceiling. Because now, everything was clear. Not emotionally. Structurally. And once something is clear, You don't need to argue with it. You just decide what it means. They didn't come back the next morning. That was the first confirmation. Not surprising. Not upsetting. Just consistent. At 9:05, my phone turned back on. I didn't rush to it. I let it sit. Let the screen light itself. 2 messages. One from my mother. Traffic is bad. We'll come later. One from my father. Let us know if you need anything. I read both. Then placed the phone back down. Face up this time. Not hidden. Not avoided. Just present. Across the curtain, the woman was still there. Different sweater. Same chair. Same position. She looked tired. Not overwhelmed? Worn. But steady. You should go home, the man said again. His voice quieter today. Less strained. I told you I'm not leaving, she replied. A small pause. Then, I want to be here. That sentence again. Unchanged. Unadjusted. I closed my eyes briefly. Not because I needed rest. Because repetition reveals truth. And I had heard enough. Around 10:30, a nurse came in with discharge paperwork. Looks like you'll be heading home this afternoon, she said. I nodded. Okay. She smiled. You've done well. That word again. Done. As if recovery was something you performed. Something measurable. Something that could be completed without anyone watching. She set the papers down. Do you have someone picking you up? I looked at the question for a second. Not at her. At the space behind it. I'll take a ride, I said. She nodded. No judgment. Just notation. Let us know if you need help arranging it. I will. She left. The room settled again. But it felt different now. Not because someone had come. Because no one needed to. That was the shift. By noon, my phone buzzed again. My mother. Are you being discharged today? I didn't answer. Then, do you need us to come get you? I read it. Then typed. Stopped. Deleted. Set the phone down. Because the question wasn't about transportation. It was about restoration. About returning to the structure that had already been defined. I stood slowly. Moved to the edge of the bed. Let my feet touch the floor. Cold. Steady. Real. That matters. The body tells you things the mind sometimes avoids. I walked to the window. Looked out. Same parking lot. Same trees. Same movement. Nothing waiting. Nothing expecting. Just open space. Across the curtain I heard a laugh. Lighter today. Relief. They're discharging you too, the woman asked. Looks like it, the man replied. That's good. Yes. A pause. Then, I'll take you home, she said. Of course. No question. No hesitation. Just continuation. I turned back to my bed. Picked up my phone. Opened the messages again. Scrolled through them. Not searching. Reviewing. Because now I wasn't inside the pattern. I was looking at it. That's the difference. When you step out, you see things as they are, not as they're explained. I typed a reply. Simple. I've arranged a ride. Sent it. No explanation. No expansion. Just fact. The response came quickly. We can still come. I read it. Then set the phone down. Didn't answer. Because offering presence after the fact doesn't change when it was needed. It only changes how it looks. At 1:15 I dressed. Slow. Careful. Not because I had to be. Because I chose to. Each movement intentional. Each step mine. That's where control returns. Not in confrontation. In action. The nurse came back. Checked my chart. Your ride is here, she said. I nodded. Picked up my bag. There wasn't much in it. Just what I came in with. Because no one had brought anything else. That detail stayed with me. Not as loss. As clarity. I walked toward the door. Paused. Just for a moment. Looked back at the room. The bed. The chair. The space that had held something important. Not care. Understanding. Across the curtain, the woman stood now. Helping the man adjust his jacket. Her hand steady. Familiar? Practiced. She looked up briefly. Our eyes met. No words. Just recognition. Then I stepped out. The hallway felt wider. Not empty. Open. That's the difference. I walked to the elevator. Pressed the button. Waited. But not in the same way. Not expecting someone to arrive. Not hoping for something to change. Just standing. Knowing I could leave. And that nothing behind me defined whether I did. The ride home was quiet. Not because the driver didn't talk. Because I didn't need him to. He asked once. Hospital visit? Yes. He nodded. That's never fun. Number. We didn't speak after that. The car moved through familiar streets. Grocery stores. Gas stations. The same bakery my mother used to stop at on Sundays. I watched it pass. Didn't feel anything. Not distance. Not attachment. Just awareness. When we pulled into my driveway, I thanked him. Stepped out. Closed the door. The house stood exactly as I had left it. No lights on. No movement inside. Just structure. I unlocked the door. Walked in. Set my bag down. The air felt still. Not empty. Not waiting. Just settled. I moved through the rooms slowly. Kitchen. Living room. Hallway. Everything in place. Unchanged. That mattered. Because it showed me something clearly. Nothing here depended on anyone else to exist. That includes me. At 3:42, my phone buzzed again. My mother. Did you get home? I read it. Didn't answer. Not immediately. I walked to the sink. Ran water. Washed my hands. Slow. Deliberate. Then dried them. Picked up the phone again. Typed. Yes. Sent. A few seconds later, do you want us to come by? I looked at the message. Then at the room around me. At the quiet. At the space I had just walked through. No, I typed. Sent. A pause. Then, we just want to help. I read it. Didn't respond. Because help offered after clarity often isn't about the person receiving it. It's about the person offering it. Grant texted around 4:10. I'm heading home early. I replied. Okay. No questions. No updates. Just acknowledgement. He arrived 20 minutes later. Walked in. Saw me standing in the kitchen. He didn't ask how I was feeling. He looked at my face. Then at the space around me. Then back at me. You're home, he said. Yes. He nodded. Set his keys down. Didn't move closer immediately. That pause mattered. What did the doctor say, he asked. I'm fine. Another nod. Silence. Then, did they come, he asked. Number. He looked down. Then back up. I thought they might. I know. We stood there. The space between us steady. Not tense. Not distant. Just clear. They called, he said. Yes. And I answered one message. What did you say? I said I was home. Silence. Then, that's it. Yes. He nodded. Not surprised. Not questioning. Just absorbing. I've been thinking about something he said. I waited. No rush. No interruption. They didn't come when it mattered, he continued. Number. And now they're trying to be here. Yes. I looked at him. What do you think that means, I asked. He paused. Then, that they're reacting. Yes. And you're not. I nodded. That's the difference. He stepped closer this time. Not all the way. Just enough. I don't want to follow that pattern, he said. I met his eyes. Then don't. Simple. Clear. No expansion. Because patterns don't change through discussion. They change through action. He nodded. That was enough. We didn't talk about it again that evening. He made dinner. I sat at the table. We ate. Quietly. Not uncomfortable. Not heavy. Just steady. At one point, he placed a glass of water in front of me. Without asking. Without announcing. Just did it. I noticed. Not because it was extraordinary. Because it was consistent. That's what matters. Later that night, I sat in the living room. The lights low. The house quiet. My phone rested on the table. Screen dark. No new messages. No missed calls. Just stillness. I picked it up. Opened the thread with my mother. Read the last message again. "We just want to help." I looked at it for a moment. Then locked the screen. Set the phone down. Because now I understood something fully. Help isn't defined by intention. It's defined by timing. And timing reveals priority. The next time I saw them, it wouldn't be as someone waiting. It wouldn't be as someone needing explanation. It would be as someone who already understood the structure and had decided where she stood in it. That's where power shifts. Not in confrontation. In clarity. The first time I saw them again, it wasn't planned. That mattered. No invitation. No careful wording. No space for adjustment. Just timing. It was a Sunday. Late afternoon. I had stopped by the grocery store on the way home. Nothing specific. Milk. Bread. Things that don't require thought. The kind of errands that fill time without asking anything from you. When I walked into the produce aisle, I saw my mother first. Standing near the apples. Comparing two bags like the decision mattered more than it did. She didn't see me. Not at first. I stood there for a second. Not hiding. Not stepping forward. Just observing. Because this wasn't about catching her off guard. It was about seeing her in a moment that wasn't arranged. My father stood a few feet away, checking his phone, scrolling, his posture the same as always, slightly removed. Present, but not fully engaged. Then my mother looked up. Our eyes met. She froze. Not dramatically, just enough. Then, "Rachel," my name came out softer than usual. Not practiced, not measured, just immediate. I walked toward her. Slow. Not hesitant. Not rushed. Just steady. "Hi." She set the apples down. Didn't pick either bag. That told me something. She hadn't made a decision. Not here. Not yet. "How are you?" she asked. "I'm fine." She nodded. Looked at me closely. Not scanning. Looking. That was new. "We were going to come by," she said. "I know." A pause. Then, "But you said not to." "Yes." She shifted slightly, hands moving together, then apart. Uncertain. That was also new. My father stepped closer. "Good to see you up," he said. "Thank you." No hug. No reach. Just acknowledgement. We stood there for a moment. Not blocking the aisle. Not moving aside. Just existing in the same space. That's harder than it sounds. "What did the doctor say?" my mother asked. "That I'm fine." Another nod. Then silence. Because there wasn't anything else to build on. Not without returning to the structure. "We should have come sooner," she said. There it was. Not an explanation. A statement. I looked at her. Yes. No softness. No correction. Just agreement. She held that. Didn't look away. That mattered. We thought she started. Then stopped. Because we thought wasn't enough anymore. It didn't carry weight. It didn't change anything. "I understand what you thought I said." That ended it. Not abruptly. Cleanly. Because once something is understood, it doesn't need to be explained again. My father shifted his weight. Looked at the apples. Then back at me. "We want to be there," he said. I nodded. "I know." Silence. Then, "And we will be," he added. I considered that. Then said, "We'll see." Not dismissive. Not accepting. Just open. Because presence isn't proven in words. It's shown in repetition. My mother picked up one of the apple bags. Set it down again. Then finally chose one. Held it. Not looking at it. At me. "Can we come by this week?" she asked. I thought about it. Not long. Just enough. Yes. Her shoulders dropped slightly. Not relief. Release. Okay. We stood there a moment longer. No one reaching for more. No one forcing connection. Just enough. "I'll call you," she said. Okay. They moved past me, not turning back, not lingering, just continuing. I watched them go, not emotionally, structurally, because now I could see the pattern clearly, not as something to fix, something to observe and respond to. Later that evening, I sat at my kitchen table, the same one I had returned to after the hospital, the same chair, the same position, but not the same person. Grant was in the living room, reading, the house quiet, not empty, not waiting, just steady. My phone rested beside me. No messages, no missed calls, just stillness. I thought about the hospital room, the empty chair, the voices across the curtain, the difference between presence and absence, and how clearly it had shown me something I hadn't allowed myself to see before. Not because I couldn't, because I didn't need to, until now. If you've ever found yourself waiting, not for help, but for someone to decide you mattered enough to show up, you learn something over time. It doesn't happen all at once. It builds, quietly, through small moments, through repeated patterns, through things that don't seem important, until they are. And then one day, you see it, not emotionally, clearly. And once you do, you stop asking for presence. You stop explaining absence. You stop adjusting yourself to fit a structure that never held you properly. You choose when to answer, when to respond, when to open the door, and when to leave it closed. That doesn't make you distant. It makes you defined. So if you're in that place right now, where something feels off but you can't quite name it, pay attention, not to what people say, to what they do, to when they show up, and when they don't, because that's where the truth is. Not loud, not dramatic, just consistent. And once you see it, you'll know exactly what to do next.